भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ ज्ञानातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णकृष्णभूतले प्रभुपादकृत्य श्रीगिरिराजाय स्वामिने सुभक्तरदास बिहारिभ्यं भक्तोल्यश्चात्मदायिने। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णकृष्णभूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणं। Hare Krishna. So welcome back after so many weeks. So we are reading Shrimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Text 7. So we will read fast because there's not too much purport in this. So we will read fast, and if possible, I don't know, if possible, we may complete this chapter. So we'll take turns to read. As related in this chapter, Indra, the king of heaven, committed an offense at the feet of his spiritual master, Brihaspati. Brihaspati therefore left the demigods, who then had no priest. However, at the request of the demigods Vishwarup, the son of the Brahmana Twashta became their priest. Once upon a time, Indra, the king of the demigods, was sitting with his wife Sachidevi and being praised by various demigods like the Siddhas, Charanas, and Gandharvas, when Brihaspati, the spiritual master of the demigods, entered the assembly. Indra, being too absorbed in material opulence, forgot himself and didn't respect Brihaspati, who thus became aware of Indra's pride in his material opulence and immediately disappeared from the assembly to teach him a lesson. Just see, right? To teach him a lesson. It's very heavy, extremely heavy. So one, see, Indra is like the king of heaven, right? We aspiring people aspire to go to heaven, and Indra Dev has to open the gate, then you can go, right? But this Indra, he offended his guru, Brihaspati, right? And so it's very dangerous to become king of heaven. Hmm? So Brihaspati set out to teach him a lesson, and great calamity is going to happen. Indra became most repentant, understanding that because of his opulence, he had forgotten to respect his spiritual master. He left the palace to beg pardon from his spiritual master, but could not find Brihaspati anywhere. Right? He's running, he's looking, and his Guru Maharaj disappeared. Right? Because of his disrespectful behavior towards his spiritual master, Indra lost all his opulence and was conquered by the demons, who defeated the demigods in a great fight and occupied Indra's throne. King Indra, along with the other demigods, later took shelter of Lord Brahma. Understanding the situation, Lord Brahma chastised the demigods for their offense to their spiritual master. Following Lord Brahma's orders, the demigods accepted Vishwarup, who was a Brahmana and the son of Twasta, as their priest. Then they performed yajnas under the priesthood of Vishwarup and were able to conquer the demigods. So when they do all this, see all these, previously, I couldn't relate what is all this. But then finally I found out, like when we studied, the story of Daksha, right? So in our horoscope, right, these falls show. In our horoscope where we are taking birth, no? These falls, they show, yeah. So now it could be in somebody's horoscope that this respect of Guru is showing. Yeah, yeah. So therefore, this is for us. All these personalities, their mistakes is relevant to our lives. So when we are systematically studying Bhagavatam, if we are paying attention, then we can become released from the fault that we have committed, right? Like we saw how Lord Shiva, how he decapitated, right, Daksha, and put a goat head there, right? So we are born like this, right? We are great, puffed up, but we are goat head, we lose our face, right? So when we are studying this Bhagavatam, we read about this. So this is Shrinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana. By studying this Bhagavatam, all these faults is going away. So again and again, we must come back and read this Bhagavatam, because this is eradicating our faults, right? So when we read again and again, then maybe Krishna will tell me, maybe I was like this, maybe I did this, maybe I did this. Krishna will tell me in my heart, right? I identify, like in that assembly, somebody, demigod, he laughed. He laughed at when this whole uh, offense was happening. He laughed. He lost all his teeth. So we are born with difficulty with teeth. So meaning we laughed, and somebody was being insulted. We showed our teeth, right? Just see. So the whole body is under nakshatras, and these nakshatras are governed by all these. I read this in I'm also listening. So now, and they go to Bhagavatam to identify. They study Bhagavatam to identify. So this is a very important chapter because this is about offense to Guru. Because of his disrespectful behavior towards his spiritual master, Indra lost all his opulence and was conquered by the demons, who defeated the demigods in a great fight and occupied Indra's throne. So why is it that I lost my position? Right? How is it that, my enemies could conquer me? Because Guru was not protecting. So offense towards Guru has happened. So therefore my enemies, they defeated me, and my Guru didn't protect me. Right? Why? I offended. Right? Understanding the situation, Lord Brahma chastised the demigods for their offense to their spiritual master. He gave them a substitute. But it became a huge fiasco. We're going to read what happened. So Vishwarup was a Brahmana and the son of Twashta. So he accepted somebody else as a priest. Then they performed yajnas under the priesthood of Vishwarup and were able to conquer the demigods. So I have given a prelude. I've given a prelude to all this. Now we're going to go fast. So you have to remember what I told you. All right? And if these faults happen to be with us or our family members, so when we're going to read, so it will go away. All right? This is the benediction. All right? So we should not uh, underestimate. Sorry? Yes. And we should read in groups. All right? We should read in groups and not online. All right? Shri Raja Vacha Kasya Heto Parityakta Acharyena Suraha Etad Achakshva Bhagavan Shishyanam Akramam Gurong. Like now they do all these yagya online, and in your name, and then we'll send you the pass. I will show you, right? What's the value? What's the value, right? What's the value? Yeah. You have to be there, right? Online, it's like an image. It's a moving image. It's a photograph actually, but it is moving. What's the benefit? Each and everything they are coming online. Yeah, they keep on advertising, so they make a lot of money from all this. Maharaj Parikshit inquired from Shukdev Goswami, "O great sage, why did the spiritual master of the demigods, Brihaspati, reject the demigods who were his own disciples?" Just see, Brihaspati rejected the demigods who were his own disciples. For a guru to reject a disciple, this is a huge thing. It is a very huge thing. Please describe to me this incident. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments. सप्तमे गुरुना त्यक्तः देवैर्जय च पराजितः विश्वरूपो गुरुत्वेन वृत्तो ब्रह्मोपदेशतः. This seventh chapter describes how Brihaspati was offended by the demigods, how he left them and the demigods were defeated, and how the demigods, following the instructions of Lord Brahma, accepted Vishwarup as the priest to perform their sacrifice. So of course here it is a very huge offense that Indradev do, but we should be careful also, among family members, society. We should be very careful not to offend anybody. Reaction comes. We should never speak in a despicable way to anybody. We should never criticize anybody. It has reactions. It accumulates. It accumulates and then you get the reaction. Text 8. Shri Badaraya Niruvacha Indrastri Bhuvaneshwariha Madalangita Saptatah Marudbhi Vasubhirudret Adityevibhubhirnipa Vishvedevascha Sadhyascha Nasatyabhyam Parishritah Siddhacharana Gandharver Munibhir Brahmavadhibhi Vidyadharapa Vidyadharapsarobhischa Kinnaraspatagoraged Nishevyamano Maghavan Stuyamanascha Bharata Upagiyamano Lalitam Asthanadhyasta Sanashritaha Pandurenata Patrena Chandramandala Charuna Yuktaschanye Paramatmesthyash Chamara Vyajanadhibhi Virajamana Paulamya Sahardhasam Naya Brisham Sayada Paramaschariyam Devanam Atmanaschaha Nabhanandata Sampraptam Pratyuthana Sanadhibhi Vachaspatim Munivaram Surasura Namaskritam No Chachala Sanad Indraha Pashyanapi Sabhagatam. Okay, let's see what happened here. Let's read the word-to-word translation, right? That will be interesting. So, Shukadev Goswami said, O king, once upon a time, the king of heaven, Indra, being extremely proud because of his great opulence of the three worlds, transgressed the law of etiquette. So what is it? Ulanghita. So he transgressed Satpataha, the path of Vedic civilization. All right? He transgressed. So believe me, if Prabhupada was not teaching Sadachar, I won't know. I learned everything from Prabhupada. Satpataha. Sat meaning the path of truth. Sat means truth. Patah means the path. So Vedic civilization treads the path of Sat. Marudhibhi, by the wind demigods known Marut. Vasubhi. So he was surrounded by Marud, Vasu. Who are the Vasus? The 11 Rudras, Adityas. You know the Adityas, right? 12 Adityas. The Ribhu, the Ashwin Kumar, Vishwadeva, Sadhya, Siddha, Charana, Gandharva, and by great saintly persons. He's king of heaven, so everybody was with him. They're all subservient to him. Also surrounding him were the Vidyadharas, Apsaras, Kinnaras, Pataga, Uragas. Remember last chapter we read about their birth, right? How they were created. Yeah, so now creation is done. Now we enjoy, right? We become heaven, king of heaven, and then we enjoy life. Everybody's under me. So we enjoy life. Just see. Whew, it can happen to anybody. Hmm? Over Indra's head was a white umbrella, as effulgent as the full moon, meaning he's the king, fanned by yak-tail whisks and served with all the paraphernalia of a great king. Indra was sitting with his wife Sachi Devi, who occupied half the throne, when the great sage Brihaspati appeared in that assembly. So the king and queen were sitting together, occupying half the throne. So she has position. This queen, Sachi. And of course, what's the use of being a king without a queen? Right? No use. Right? How to enjoy life. Now, Brihaspati, the best of the sages. Let's look. Hmm? Oh my God, I can laugh, but God knows I must have committed this offense also. Parama Acharyam, the most exalted Acharya, spiritual master, Devanam of all the demigods, Atmanaha. Abhyanandata, welcome. He did not. Huh? So what happened? So when the great sage Brihaspati appeared in that assembly, Brihaspati, the best of the sages, was the spiritual master of Indra and the demigods, and was respected by the demigods and demons alike. Right? So even the deities, right, they offer respect to Brihaspati. Right? Nevertheless, although Indra saw his spiritual master before him, he did not rise from his own seat or offer a seat to his spiritual master. See, everybody knows this. Everybody knows this, right? If somebody comes at your door, you don't just sit. You get up, you receive, right? You welcome, right? My God. See how dangerous it is when you become Indra? He was so much enjoying, right? Nor did Indra offer him a respectful welcome. Hmm? Indra did nothing to show him respect. We relaxed. Every day Indra is entering the palace. Every day you're saying your guru. You understand what's happening? Understand what's happening? Indra, he says his guru every day, right? Because they do yagya every day, right? Every day he's saying his guru was, so he got familiar. He got easily, every day he's saying his guru. So when his guru walked in unexpectedly while he's sitting and enjoying life, he didn't pay attention. Not conscious, right? He's not conscious. He's conscious of enjoyment. Text 9. Tato nirgatya saha kavirangira sa prabhu ayayo swagriham tushnim vidvan shrimad vikriyam. Brihaspati knew everything that would happen in the future. Seeing Indra's transgression of etiquette, he completely understood that Indra was puffed up by material opulence. Although able to curse Indra, he didn't do so. Instead, he left the assembly and in silence returned to his home. Can you imagine? Your guru come to your home, you don't welcome him, the guru left. You're finished, right? You're finished. There's nothing left of you. Because Brihaspati is He who gives all opulence, who gives life, who gives education, right? Whatever good fortune you have, this is all due to Brihaspati Guru, right? Text 10. तर्ह्येव प्रतिबुध्येन्द्रो गुरुखेलनम् आत्मनः गर्हयान् आशा स्वयं atmahanam atmana. Indra, the king of heaven, could immediately understand his mistake. Realizing he had disrespected his spiritual master, he condemned himself in the presence of all the members of the assembly. Okay, see now Indra, he's intelligent, right? He knows he has lost he's lost his throne. That throne that we occupy is the remnants of the mercy of Guru. Guru is gone, meaning throne is gone. So Indra knows this. So he realized, he knows without war, right? Without war, he has lost his throne, right? People go and war, they lose their country, their throne, right? Without war, he's lost his throne. Okay? Oh my God, I mean, this is just too bad. Text 11. Oho bata maya sadhu kritam vedabhra buddhina yan maya ishwarya matena guru sadasi katrikritaha. Alas, what a regrettable deed I have committed because of my lack of intelligence. Dabhra buddhina. I have no buddhi. I failed to show respect to my spiritual master when he entered this assembly, and thus I have insulted him. My God, you know, if we behave in such a way that we insult somebody, you know. Text 12. Ko gridhyet pandito lakshmi tripishtapa api yayaham asuram bhavam nitodhya vibhodeshwaraha. So only asuras, they are reckless. Only asura, they don't care, right? They don't care. Just see how Daksha, how he insulted Narad Muni. Previously, he insulted Lord Shiva, right? He became from Brahmana, he became Kshatriya, right? Although I'm king of the demigods, who are situated in the mode of goodness, I am proud of a little opulence and polluted by false ego. Tripishta papate, or P. Pati. Pati means king, who is lording over something. So I am king of the demigods, meaning all the three planetary systems. So that's why all the demigod representative of the three planetary system was surrounding him, right? Oh my God. I was proud of a little opulence and polluted by false ego. Why little opulence? Because it's not everything. Heaven is not everything, right? Heaven is not everything. Under the circumstances, who in this world would accept such riches? At the risk of falling down, alas, I condemn my wealth and opulence. Okay, you can read loudly.
Purport: Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prayed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Na dhanam, na janma, na sundarim, kavitam va jagat isa kamaye. O my Lord, I do not aspire for material opulences or wealth, nor do I want a great number of followers to accept me as their leader, nor do I want a very beautiful wife to please me. Mama Janmanime Severe Bhavat Bhavat Bhaktir Haituki Tyai. I do not even want liberation. I want, life after life, is to be a faithful servant of your Lordship. According to the laws of nature, when one is extremely opulent, one becomes degraded. And this is true both individually and collectively. The demigods are situated in the mode of goodness, but sometimes even one who is situated in such an exalted position as King Indra, the king of all demigods, falls down because of material opulence. We are now actually seeing this in America. The entire American nation has tried to advance in material opulence without striving to produce ideal human beings. The result is that all Americans are now regretting the wholesale criminality of American society and are wondering how America has become so lawless and unmanageable. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.31, Nate vidhu sarvatha gatim hi Vishnum. Persons who are unenlightened do not know the aim of life, which is to return home back to Godhead. Therefore, both individually and collectively, they try to enjoy so called material comforts and they become addicted to wine and women. The men produced in such a society are less than fourth class. They are the unwanted population known as Varna Sankara, and as stated in Bhagavad Gita, an increase of Varna Sankara population creates a hellish society. This is the society in which Americans now find themselves. Fortunately, however, the Hare Krishna movement has come to America, and many fortunate young men are giving serious attention to this movement, which is creating ideal men of first class character. Man who completely refrains from meat eating, illicit sex, intoxication, and gambling. If the American people are serious about curbing the degraded criminal life of their nation, they must take to the Krishna consciousness movement and try to create the kind of human society advised in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvanyam Maya Sristam Gunakarma Vibhagasa. They must divide their society into first class men, second class men, third class men, and fourth class men. Since they are now creating only men who are less than fourth class, how can they avoid the dangers of a criminal society? Long ago, Lord Indra regretted his disrespect to his spiritual master Brihaspati. Similarly, it is advised that the American people regret their mistake, advancement in civilization. They should take advice from the spiritual master, the representative of Krishna. If they do so, they will be happy and theirs will be an ideal nation to lead the entire world.
Yes, so here Prabhupada is giving a practical from Indralok to America. All right. So they are extremely, Prabhupada says, they become extremely opulent. And because of that opulence, they became degraded. And the demigods are situated in the mode of goodness, but sometimes even one situated in such an exalted position as King Indra, the king of all the demigods, falls down because of material opulence. And extremely opulent, when one is extremely opulent, one becomes degraded. Too much, too much. And then, smaller, poorer country, they want to imitate America, right? Whatever America has, they want to duplicate in their own small countries, right? And then this small country who don't have that opulence of America, what happened to them? They become poverty stricken, right? They start living beyond their means. right? Imitate. Hmm? God, so big responsibility to be Indra. So Prabhupada is saying that uh, if we bring in Krishna consciousness, then we can avoid this pitfall. Hmm? The pride of opulence. Text 13. Ya paramestyam dhishanam adhistishtanna kanchana pratyushthishtet iti bruhyor dharmam tena param viduhu. Anita?
Hare Krishna. Translation. If a person says one who is situated on the exalted throne of a king should not stand up to show respect to another king or Brahmana, it is to be understood that he does not know the superior religious principle. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura says in the regard that when a president or a king is sitting on his throne, he does not need to show respect to everyone who comes within his assembly, but he must show respect to superior like his spiritual master, Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. There are many examples of how he should act. When Lord Krishna was sitting on his throne and Narada fortunately entered his assembly, even Lord Krishna immediately stood up with his officers and ministers to offer res- respect, respectful of Godhead. Obeisance to Narada. Narada knew that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Krishna knew the Narada was his devotee. But although Krishna is the Supreme Lord and Narada is the Lord's devotee, the Lord observed the religious etiquette. Since Narada was a brahmachari, a brahmana, an exalted devotee, even Krishna, while acting as a king, offered his respectful obeisances unto Narada. Such is the conduct visible in the Vedic civilization, a civilization in which the people do not know the representative of Narada and Krishna should be respected, how society should be performed, and how one should advance in Krishna consciousness. A society concerned only with manufacturing new cars and new skyscrapers every year and then breaking them to pieces and making new ones may be technically advanced, but it's not human civilization. A human civilization is advanced when its people follow Varnaya system, the system of four orders of life. There must be idle there must be idle first class men to act as the advisor, second class men to act as administrator, third class men to produce food and protect cows, and fourth class men who obeys the three highest classes of society. One who does not follow the standard system of the society should be considered a fifth class man. A society without Vedic laws and regulations will not be very helpful to humanity. As stated in this verse, Dharmam te na param viduha, such a society does not know the aim of life and the high principle of religion. Hare Krishna.
Text 14. Tesham kupatha destrinam patatam tamasiyadha yeshadha vai majantyashmaha plavaiva. Leaders who have fallen into ignorance and who mislead people by directing them to the path of destruction as described in the previous verse, or in effect, boarding a stone boat, and so too are those who blindly follow them. A stone boat would be unable to float and would sink in the water with its passengers. Similarly, those who mislead people go to hell, and their followers go with them. So, Indra, I mean, he's highly educated, right? Otherwise, he won't become Indra. He's highly educated. And he did such a mistake. And on the spot, he understood his mistake. But Brihaspati didn't react. Right? He's repenting. But Brihaspati did not react. Huh? Didn't respond. He didn't forgive him. Okay, beta, it's okay. You made a mistake. It's okay. No. So Guru can be very strong in chastisement. Guru can be very, very strong in chastisement. And it's no joke. Right? It's no joke. As we are going to see the fiasco that's going to happen. As stated in the Vedic literature, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam 11.20.17. Deham adhyam sulabham sudurlabham labham sukalpam guru karnadharam. We conditioned souls have fallen in the ocean of nescience. The human body fortunately provides us a good opportunity to cross the ocean, because the human body is like a very good boat. When directed by a spiritual master acting as the captain, the boat can very easily cross the ocean. Therefore, the boat is held across by favorable winds, which are the instructions of Vedic knowledge. If one doesn't take advantage of all these facilities to cross the ocean of nescience, he's certainly committing suicide. Alright, so we are studying all this Bhagavatam. We are in 6th canto. I don't know how many years we've been reading, right? I hope you are rereading everything, meditating and trying to practice, right? And if we don't, then we are committing suicide. One who boards a boat made of stone is doomed to be elevated to the stage of perfection. Humanity must first give up false leaders who present boats of stone. All of human society is in such a dangerous position that to be rescued, it must abide by the standard instructions of the Vedas. One should not take shelter of any other instructions, for Bhagavad Gita gives direct instructions on how to fulfill the aim of human life. Lord Shri Krishna therefore says, Sarva dharmam parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Give up all other processes of religion and simply surrender to me. Even if one doesn't accept Lord Krishna, the Supreme Person Godhead, his instructions are so exalted and beneficial for humanity that if one follows his instructions, one will be saved. Otherwise, one will be cheated by unauthorized meditation and gymnastics method of yoga. Thus, one will board a boat of stone which will sink and drown all its passengers. Unfortunately, although the American people are extremely eager to get out of materialistic chaos, they are sometimes found to patronize the makers of stone boats. That will not help them. They must take the proper boat offered by Krishna in the form of the Krishna consciousness movement. Then they will be easily saved. So what do? So it looks like one, even here, right, in India also. So patronize, So you're a patron of you see this Vachak, that Vachak, or this organization, that organization, you become a patron, so you're pouring in your money, your wealth, all your opulence, what are your time, all your associates, all your contacts, right? You pour in one person, and this person is actually made of a boat made of stone. So meaning you get nothing. Get nothing. So therefore we should know what we are doing. So Prabhupada speaking of this. So they must take the proper boat offered by Krishna in the form of the Krishna consciousness movement. Now, these days we have to recognize also which is the Krishna consciousness movement, right? So many things are happening, we don't know, right? So we should know. They look like Krishna consciousness movement, but they are not. So how much more attentive you have to be? How much you have to study? You should be able at one glance, if not one glance, one word out, you should know which one is the Krishna consciousness movement. So if you're studying Prabhupada's books, you will recognize. Then they will be easily saved. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, Ashma manaya plavayesham te yatha majantam plavam anumajjanti tatheti raja nitya nityupadeshtrishu swa sabhyeshu kopo vyanjitaha. If society is guided by political diplomacy, if a society like our society, a society, a human being, is guided by political diplomacy with one nation maneuvering against another, all right, with one nation maneuvering against another, it will certainly sink like a stone boat. It will sink like a stone boat, right? It's the game, right? Actually, everybody's gaming to be a supreme, and they're using you to put themselves on top, right? So time is wasted. People must take to Krishna consciousness to understand the aim of life, to understand God, and to fulfill the human mission. Text 15. Athaham amaracharyam agadhadhishanam dvijam prasadayeshe nishatha Shrishnatat sprishan. King Indra said, Therefore, with great frankness and without duplicity, I shall now bow my head at the lotus feet of Brihaspati, the spiritual master of the demigods. Because he's in the mode of goodness, he's fully aware of all knowledge and is the best of the Brahmanas. Now I shall touch his lotus feet and offer my obeisances unto him to try to satisfy him. Okay? So he knows what has happened. So he said, I will bow my head at the lotus feet of the Acharya, right? Amar Acharya. Amara means the demigods. Amar, the demigods, he who doesn't die, meaning the demigods have a very long life. Agadha Dhishanam, whose knowledge is very deep. Whose knowledge is very deep. Hmm? Hmm? Just see. He's saying that uh, Brihaspati, his knowledge is very deep, right? So I'm going to go touch his feet, put my head on his feet. Purport. Coming to his senses, King Indra realized that he was not a very sincere disciple of his spiritual master Brihaspati. See how Prabhupada is detecting the defect. He's saying Indra was not sincere, right? So we use Guru to get opulence. See? He's using the Guru. We take Diksha, in order to have a good placement. right? You don't actually intend to surrender. A disciple should never be, oh my God, just see what Prabhupada is saying. A disciple should never be a hypocrite or be unfaithful to his spiritual master, right? You so-called take Diksha, but actually we are hypocrites, right? Or unfaithful to his spiritual master. In Shrimad Bhagavatam 11.17-27, the spiritual master is also called Acharya. Acharyam Mam Vijaniyam, the Supreme Person Godhead, say that one should respect the spiritual master, accepting him as the Lord himself. Navamanyeta karhichit. One should not disrespect the Acharya at any time. Namartya buddhya shuyate. One should never think the Acharya an ordinary person. Familiarity sometimes breeds contempt, but one should be very careful in one's dealings with the Acharya. Agadha Dhishanam Dvijam. The Acharya is a perfect Brahmana and has unlimited intelligence in guiding the activities of his disciple. Unlimited. From where will he get? Is it possible, Acharya, to have unlimited intelligence? Is it possible? So, how he gets intelligence? Krishna, right? Each and every one of us, we have our karma, right? We have our history. Hmm. From time immemorial, we are carrying. How can anybody know you? It's not possible, right? But Krishna is dictating to the Guru how to behave towards you, how to guide so that we can make spiritual advancement. Hmm? So here this is what's given. Therefore, Krishna advises in Bhagavad Gita 4.34 Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impact knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. One should fully surrender unto the spiritual master and with service, sevaya, one should approach him for further spiritual enlightenment. So this is how we deal. You are doing seva? Are you doing seva? Are you doing seva, Amrita? Start doing seva. Prabhupada is giving this instruction over and over. Huh? Oh. Oh. Hmm? Yeah. So this verse is saying one should approach the spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. See, what is the use you go on giving instruction and there's no outcome, right? Guru wants to see whether you are engaged in service, right? One should fully surrender unto the spiritual master and with service sevaya. One should approach him for further spiritual enlightenment. So we say that the dakshina uh, uh, giving instruction, giving this enlightenment is seva. That's the dakshina, right? Right? And what's the seva? Preach, bring others to Krishna consciousness somehow or other, right? Of course, personal service are there, cooking for him, cleaning his room, cleaning, washing, all that. But like my Guru Maharaj once said, one, two disciple can do this, but the whole world cannot do, right? So what do? What one thing that everybody can do? Preach. This is the seva, right? Otherwise you have 10 disciples competing who will cook for Guru Maharaj, right? But how many competing, let me go and speak to the non-devotees and bring them to Krishna consciousness, right? Why not compete for that? Let me go and distribute books. Hmm? So, when we are ready to do seva, then we have the right to approach him for further enlightenment. See, black and white, right? Paper is black, is white, ink is black. Read it again. One should fully surrender unto the spiritual master. Okay, Guru Maharaj, I'm surrendered. Show me your surrender. And with service, and with service, one should approach him for further spiritual enlightenment. Otherwise, Guru will say, you're not sincere. I'm talking, serve Krishna, but you're not doing anything. So why should I give more instruction? Right? So, Prabhupada started this purport by saying a disciple should not be what? Hypocrite. Prabhupada says disciples should not be hypocrite or unfaithful. Text 16. Evam chintaya tastasya magho no bhagavan grihat Brihaspatir gato drishtaham gotim atyatma mayaya. While Indra, the king of the demigods, thought in this way and repented in his own assembly. Okay? So he's sitting in his assembly and he's regretting, he's speaking so many words. Brihaspati, the most powerful spiritual master, understood his mind. Thus he became invisible to Indra and left home. For Brihaspati was spiritually more powerful than King Indra. Meaning King Indra, see, you have to be a highly pious to occupy the throne of Indra, right? You have to be extremely pious. So many yagya, I heard 100 Ashwamedha yagya you must do, then you can occupy the throne of Indra. But Brihaspati is more spiritually powerful. So he understood his mind. He said he will come now. He will come now as a hypocrite to save his throne. Right? To save his throne, he will come as a hypocrite now. He will touch my feet. So Brihaspati, what he did? He vanished. My God, so we can't cheat the Guru. Right? We can't cheat the Guru. Guru can read us. Why? Because he's more spiritually powerful. Text 17. Gurunadhigatah samghya parikshan bhagavan swarat yayan dhiya sure yuktah saramana labhatatmanah. Although Indra such vigorously, my God, vigorously parikshan, with great parikram, right? He searched vigorously with the assistance of the other demigods. He could not find Brihaspati. Then Indra thought, alas, my spiritual master has become dissatisfied with me, and now I have no means of achieving what? Good fortune, you understand? Although Indra was surrounded by demigods, he could not find peace of mind. Okay, so we'll stop here. This is a climax, right? Indeed, a climax. Brihaspati has vanished, right? Because he knows this Indra is after good fortune, right? He's not after bhakti. He's after good fortune. He's using me. He's using me to get good fortune, right? Brahmananda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. The spiritual master appears to the sincere disciple who wants to serve Krishna. Right? So it says that when the time for our breaking the cycle of birth and death is approaching, and when this Atma is feeling fatigued to be in this material world and start looking towards this super soul who's next to him, then that super soul appears externally as the spiritual master, right? Not like Indra here, he's thinking my good fortune is over. So, Guru vanished. Guru vanished. Hmm? So, Prabhupada said, for hypocrite, right? So, we are using Guru only to get, our work done, right? Whole of India is like that, isn't it? Everybody come to temple, give me this, give me this, give me that, right? And they maintain a guru also for that purpose, right? I will give a dakshina, he will give blessing, right? And everything will go on fine in my house, isn't it? Here, Brihaspati say, I don't care about your dakshina, right? I don't care about your dakshina. I don't care whether you give me a place in your palace. I don't care. Because obviously, Brihaspati, he is the priest of Indra, so Indra has provided for him. So a guru is not dependent on the disciple. Is never dependent on the disciple. So you can see here, he vanished, and Indra cannot find him. So this is very, very heavy lessons to learn already, Who goofed up before? Daksha, right? Hmm? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, anything you want to say? Question, comment. Hare Krishna, Ruby. Hare Krishna. Welcome. Okay. But you come so late. All right. Hare Krishna.